Good morning and a warm welcome to each and every gathered here for this international conference on peace journalism. Wish you all a very enriching, fruitful day. To begin this conference, we'll begin with a small prayer followed by a video on Pope Paul VI. The theme of peace journalism and fake news is something very exciting and very actual. And so today, our discussion, our sharing on this pertinent theme, especially here at the Vatican, is of great significance. I wish all of you a very enjoyable day, and we have with us the speakers already ready to share with us their experience and expertise. Let us begin this moment imploring God's blessings on all of us through a prayer. Lord, instruments of your peace, help us to recognize the evil latent in a communication that does not build communion. Help us to remove the venom from our judgments. Help us to speak about others as our brothers and sisters. You are faithful and trustworthy. May our words be seeds of goodness for the world. Where there is shouting, let us practice listening. Where there is confusion, let us inspire harmony. Where there is ambiguity, let us bring clarity. Where there is exclusion, let us offer solidarity. Where there is sensationalism, let us use sobriety. Where there is superficiality, let us raise real questions. Where there is prejudice, let us awaken trust. Where there is hostility, let us bring respect. Where there is falsehood, let us bring truth. Amen.
Si vede subito che la pace è una cosa assai bella, ma è una cosa difficile, che alcuni la credono un sogno, un mito, un'utopia. Noi invece diciamo che la pace sì è una cosa difficile, difficilissima anzi, ma è una cosa possibile, una cosa doverosa, il che vuol dire che bisogna lavorare molto per ottenere la pace. Essa è frutto di grandi sforzi, di grandi programmi e prima di tutto è frutto della giustizia. La pace è un bene di tutti e tutti dobbiamo collaborare per mantenerla, per farla progredire. Sapete certamente che cosa sono i mass media, i mezzi di comunicazione sociale. Non siamo qui nel campo della stampa e del giornalismo, della radio, della televisione, delle moderne comunicazioni, delle notizie, delle immagini e del pensiero. Un campo puramente professionale e tecnico, perciò un campo profano e, ahimè, spesso profanato. Sì, ma è un campo di strumenti validissimi, è una scuola nuova e meravigliosa di superlativa potenza, è una parola che tende a farsi universale e insieme a farsi educatrice, liberatrice.
That was a small homage to Saint Pope Pius VI, who was the Apostle of Peace. And we heard the words in Italian. His famous document, Pacem in Terris, Peace on Earth, speaks all about peace. To begin our conference, we are going to hear the words of welcome by the Prefect of the Dicastery of Communications, Paolo Ruffini.
Buongiorno e benvenuti. Io voglio innanzitutto ringraziarvi di essere qui in un tempo che corre così veloce. È importante trovare il tempo per fermarsi un attimo e riflettere su di noi, su dove stiamo andando. Non possiamo fermare il tempo, ma possiamo prenderci il tempo. Ringrazio Sua Eminenza il Cardinale Tarkson che è in arrivo e che ha voluto concedere il patrocinio a questa iniziativa ed essere personalmente presente in mezzo a noi. Ringrazio i relatori e tutti gli intervenuti. Ringrazio Joan Galtung, Vanessa Basil, Hei Sheng Her, Stefania Tanessini e Michele Zanzucchi. E ringrazio la Presidente del Signis, Helen Osman. Ringrazio insomma tutti perché essere qui a ragionare sulla comunicazione e sulla pace, sulla comunicazione di pace in un tempo che vive l'ossimoro di una comunicazione che non comunica, che parla ma non ascolta, che vede ma non comprende, è importante per capire la direzione dove andare. Viviamo un tempo che ha generato la solitudine dell'incomunicabilità nella società della comunicazione, un tempo pericolosamente tentato dalla radicalizzazione, dalla semplificazione, dalla voglia di correre subito alla conclusione senza avere la pazienza della comprensione. Un tempo che ricerca, anzi costruisce incessantemente capri espiatori per ridurre tutto o quasi tutto ad un dualismo feroce. Amico-nemico, ti includo, ti cancello, pollice pro, pollice verso. Un tempo che costruisce identità fondate sulla negazione dell'altro, che cerca di convincerci fraudolentemente che l'unica alternativa che abbiamo a disposizione sia quella fra la negazione di noi stessi e la negazione degli altri. Vi chiedo scusa in anticipo se anche io vivo oggi una contraddizione personale a questo proposito, perché purtroppo non potrò restare con voi tutto il tempo che vorrei e che dovrei a causa del Sinodo, ma ci tengo a condividere alcune riflessioni sul ruolo che il giornalismo ha nella definizione di questo nostro tempo, che invece pensa di limitarsi a descrivere. Il fatto è che nella globalizzazione frammentata in cui siamo immersi sono anche i mezzi di comunicazione di massa e sono le reti sociali, il crogiuolo dove si formano, prendono forma le nostre identità in divenire. E occasioni come questa servono a risvegliare i significati di quello che siamo e di quello che facciamo. Penso per esempio alle parole. A quante volte le ridiciamo ad un simulacro, le svuotiamo di senso, le corrompiamo. Questa è la prima riflessione che vorrei condividere con noi. Che uso facciamo delle parole nel racconto di quel che siamo, di come viviamo, nella costruzione cioè della nostra storia, che anche con un uso sbagliato delle parole alla fine ci scappa di mano e diventa sguaiata e violenta e si scrive da sola mentre noi la inseguiamo. In una sua bellissima filastrocca per bambini, uno scrittore italiano, Gianni Rodari, scriveva: abbiamo parole per vendere, parole per comprare, parole per fare parole, parole per fingere, parole per ferire. Proviamo a cercare insieme le parole per pensare, le parole per parlarci, per amare. Le parole sono alla base della nostra comunicazione, per questo è bene che siano quelle giuste, e quelle giuste sono quelle che aiutano a capire. La seconda riflessione che vorrei fare riguarda il rapporto fra pace e sicurezza, e qui prendo in prestito le parole di Dietrich Bonhoeffer per provare a capovolgere un sillogismo a volte troppo facile, secondo il quale la pace dipende dalla sicurezza. È davvero così? Non sempre, penso. Non sempre la pace si coniuga con la sicurezza. La pace si coniuga meglio con la giustizia che con la sicurezza. La sicurezza non sempre è giusta e certo non lo è quando riduce l'altro, a prescindere, in un nemico da cui difendersi. Cito dunque Bonhoeffer. Come si crea la pace? con un sistema di trattati politici, mediante il denaro o addirittura mediante un riarmo pacifico generale con lo scopo di assicurare la pace? No, attraverso nessuna di queste cose si crea la pace. E questo per un unico motivo, perché qui si confondono sempre pace e sicurezza, ma la pace va osata, mai e poi mai può essere assicurata. La pace è il contrario di sicurezza. Esigere sicurezza significa essere diffidenti e a sua volta la diffidenza può generare la guerra. Ecco un altro elemento di riflessione a proposito del modo in cui intendiamo la comunicazione. Riguarda l'obbligo per ogni buon giornalista, per ogni buon comunicatore, di non vedere le cose solo da un unico punto di vista, l'obbligo di porsi dubbi, in questo caso di distinguere fra la sicurezza giusta e quella ingiusta. La terza riflessione riguarda il difficile compito della discernita di cosa raccontare. E qui prendo in prestito le parole di un altro scrittore italiano, Italo Calvino, per dire che anche con questa attività si può alimentare l'inferno o costruire la pace. La citazione è tratta dalle città invisibili. Cito: «L'inferno dei viventi è quello che abbiamo tutti i giorni e due modi ci sono per non soffrirne. Il primo riesce facile a molti, accettare l'inferno e diventarne parte fino al punto di non vederlo più. Il secondo è rischioso ed esige attenzione e apprendimento continui, cercare e saper riconoscere chi e cosa in mezzo all'inferno non è inferno e farlo durare e dargli spazio». Ecco, in questo dargli spazio, credo, c'è lo spazio del giornalismo di pace. La quarta ed ultima riflessione che voglio condividere riguarda il rapporto che questo nostro incontro ha anche con il tema del prossimo messaggio per la Giornata Mondiale delle Comunicazioni Sociali. Questo convegno rappresenta anche, credo, in qualche modo un passaggio di testimone fra la riflessione che Papa Francesco ci ha invitato a fare l'anno scorso e quella che ci propone per l'anno venturo, ammonendoci a non ridurre il concetto di comunità ad un suo surrogato superficiale. Non c'è community se non c'è comunità. Nel tempo della interconnessione, dei social, del passaggio dalla società della comunicazione alla società della conversazione, dobbiamo stare attenti a non trasformare la rete in quel che essa per sua natura non è, non necessariamente almeno. Un luogo dove più ci si addentra, più si perde la propria unicità, la propria identità personale e anche l'orientamento, la capacità di distinguere fra vero e falso, coerente e incoerente, rimanendo intrappolati in un gioco che finisce per annullare ogni relazione vera, ogni dialogo sincero, ogni capacità di comprensione. Dobbiamo invece restituire alla rete il suo significato più bello e più legato alla natura dell'uomo, la bellezza dell'incontro, del dialogo, della conoscenza, della relazione. La dimensione digitale è reale anche se incorporea, non è virtuale. Per questo occorre ripartire dalla realtà delle persone tutte intere e dalla verità di relazioni vere per riscoprire la bellezza della pace, riannodare il primo filo, ripartire dalla prima regola, non fare agli altri quello che non vorresti sia fatto a te, fai agli altri quello che vorresti sia fatto a te. Ha ragione Paolo VI che abbiamo sentito poco fa. Alcuni pensano che sia un sogno, un mito, un'utopia. Noi invece diciamo che la pace è una cosa difficile, difficilissima, ma è possibile ed è doverosa. E ha ragione Oscar Romero. Questa è la grande malattia del mondo di oggi, non sapere amare. Mi sembra di vederlo Cristo intristito mentre dice: «Vi avevo detto di amarvi come io vi amo». Domani Paolo VI ed Oscar Romero saranno proclamati santi e c'è un filo di continuità che lega noi qui al Papa che ha chiesto a noi, agli operatori dell'informazione e della comunicazione, di fare ogni sforzo per annunciare dai tetti il messaggio di Cristo, la via, la verità, la vita, ad un mondo che la luce la cerca ormai quasi solo a tastoni, e ad un vescovo martire proprio perché questo faceva senza arrendersi alla falsità del tempo. Riallacciare questo filo è un modo per contribuire alla costruzione di un giornalismo di pace. Grazie del vostro tempo.
A big thanks to our prefect, Paolo Ruffini for his wonderful message and the words of welcome. Now waiting for our Cardinal Peter Turkson. He'll be arriving in a few minutes. Before that, we'll go on to listen to the moderator of the day, Ms. Helen Hosman, the President of Signis. She will explain to us the dynamics of this morning, and over to Helen.
And thank you, Paolo, for those wonderful introductory remarks here as we consider the scope of the day to our duty to form and create peace. So thank you very much. As we wait for His Eminence's arrival, we can do a couple of housekeeping matters, which is my role today to keep us all kind of organized and on track. There is a form in your folder, if you've not already seen it, in which you can indicate which group you would like to participate in after our coffee break. Professor Galtung and Mr. Nakal, I don't know where you are. Thank you. So if you could stand, yes. So they'll be leading one group. Dr. Racing Her and Dr. Natasha Govakar will be leading another group. Vanessa Basil and Janvir Miego. Where is Janvir? He's not here. Okay, all right. The fourth group is a group led by Stefania on Net 1. And will those groups be here on the sides? Okay, so we'll give you further directions after the coffee break on that. So if you could select those. Secondly, we hope to have time before the coffee break for some questions. And in order to facilitate that experience, if you could write your questions in advance on one of the pieces of paper in our lovely Vatican News notebook here. We have volunteers on the side, I believe, accepting your questions. Yeah, I'm sorry. You can't. Oh, is that better? Sorry, my apologies, So, do I need to repeat? Would that be helpful? Okay. So we are hoping that we will have time to take a few questions at the end of the morning session. If you would be so kind as to write your question in advance on one of the pieces of paper in the notepad and give it to one of the staff members of the dicastery, we'll then coordinate and prioritize those questions so that we can address those after all of the presenters are finished this morning, so before the coffee break. So again, if you could write those in whatever language you're comfortable in, we'll make sure we're able to look at those and compile those.
A gentle request to all of you present here, please keep your mobile phones in the silent mode so that it is not a disturbance to the speakers. We'll now begin the panel discussion, and when the Cardinal comes, perhaps we will pause for a while to listen to him. And again, over to Helen.
So we'll go ahead and begin with our first presenter then. We're very delighted to have with us Dr. Johan Vincent Galtung. He is a Norwegian, a sociologist, mathematician, and the principal founder of the discipline of peace and conflict studies. He's the founder of the Peace Research Institute Oslo, which he founded in 1959, and was its first director until 1970. He has held numerous positions of visiting faculty to numerous universities and has been a consultant to many international organizations such as UNICEF, FAO, ILO, UNESCO, the World Health Organization, and many others. He has been conferred 10 honorary doctorates and 4 honorary professorships, together with a number of other awards and prizes for his contribution to peace. He is fluent in Norwegian, English, German, Spanish, French, and Italian, and we are very honored to have him presenting this morning. Thank you, Dr. Galtung.
Thank you so much indeed. Thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be with you. And thanks for your introduction. You only forgot to mention the most important thing. And it almost always happens. People who introduce me pick the word professor. Leave that aside, forget about it. I'm a mediator, and a quite professional mediator. I have mediated about 150 conflicts, and they have brought me to about 150 countries. But I'm not 150 years old. I'm only, in a couple of days, 88, the same day as United Nations has its birthday, the 24th of October. And I'm 15 years older than United Nations, so I claim a little bit more experience in the world, and feel very happy about it all and very grateful to be here. And you have now asked me to make some introductory remarks. I think the basic point about peace journalism could be seen by making a distinction between violence, negative peace, and positive peace. Violence is to do bad things to each other. Positive peace is to do good things to each other. Negative peace is to do nothing. For instance, there is negative peace between my country, Norway, and Nepal, because there is nothing. That helps a lot. So you can say that negative peace is absence of violence and absence of positive peace. The problem is that for many people this is peace, because they identify peace just as absence of violence. And that's because the concept of positive peace has not been developed enough. But since most of us either are married or sooner or later will become married, unfortunately 50% now divorcing, which is a bad sign, we know something about it. We know that in a marriage, violence can take the form of beating, of husband beating the wife, wife beating the children, and the children beating the dogs. And then at the bottom you have the dogs. And that's why they are called dogs, underdogs. Now, it's a bad marriage. We also know what negative peace is in a marriage. You do your thing and I do my thing. And we meet at the meals. And will you please not put your books on my side of the table and I'll not put my books on your side of the table? You can call it peaceful coexistence, a kind of separation inside marriage. I live my life, you live your life. Very many marriages are like that. Very many. Let us celebrate that there is no violence. Let us deplore that there is no positive peace. For positive peace, we have a word, a wonderful word called love. And we make a distinction between the body, the mind, and the spirit. The love of the body should not immediately be identified with sex. It may also just be two hands shaking, the touch of the other, the beauty of it. And sometimes we organize a little touch with the hope that it could lead to more. And the touch could also be with the eyes, incidentally. the eyes being very important. And one can sometimes recognize an eye or two of them at a distance of 100 feet, and it may end up with a marriage. So I have said that, but we also know that love, as positive peace in the marriage, is with the body, it's with the mind, to be in love. And it is, of course, with the spirit. What does that mean? Body, mind, and spirit. I interpret it as having projects together, doing things together. And it comes to my job as a mediator very often to mediate marriages. I have done it about 25, 30 times all around the world. And the critical age in marriages is usually around 45. That's when they come to me. And you may then ask, why 45? Sorry, my fault. Why 45? It's a very simple reason. The children have left. They have no more project. They started with a project with love and sex and marriage in whatever order. Some say marriage first, then love, then sex. Others say sex first, then love, then marriage. There are 6 ways of organizing it. If you are a mathematician, you will recognize them all. And they're all interesting. But what we are concerned with right here is the positive aspect of the project. So my task as a mediator in marriages, when they come to me, and they often do, is that I talk with each one of them separately, never more than one at a time. Why? I don't want the other one to interfere. I don't want the other one to say, that's not what you said yesterday, I'll remind you of what you said yesterday. That doesn't help anything. I'll talk with all of them, one at a time. It's the transcend method. And I have an agenda. And I like to share that agenda with you. I always start with the positive future. In your view, what does a good marriage look like? And they are stuttering, they talk badly, they don't find the words. Now, that was the ideal. What is the reality? Then they talk fluently. They're very good at that. Be that marriages or be it Afghanistan or whatever, North Korea, be it United States, China. Who made them so good in the negative? The damn media. Those culprits, those bandits, those criminals calling themselves journalists. Well, they got one thing correct, jour. They report only what happened that was different from the day before. They call that news. It so happened that the olds may be even more important. I see from my inner eye a newspaper that at the bottom of the first page have important olds for you to consider. Not only news, but add the olds. Relationship between North Korea and United States seems to be changing. And then a short summary. Because it's been going on for some time now, it's no longer news. In other words, maybe we have been captivated too much by the idea of news. That could be. But what do I do then? Well, my task is to help design a project. My road to peace goes via joint projects. And I call that a vision. How do I do that? I talk with them separately. What do I aim at? I try to find the good aspect of the parties. It is quite evident that when I get to know them, that there is a negative aspect, and I keep that on the back of my mind. Up front, I keep the good aspect. And then I ask myself, here we have that other party. My task is to help them design a project linking good with good. Good with good, good with good, good with God. That's not the Western way of doing it. The Western way of doing it is to call for something called security against the bad. The good you take for granted because that's yourself. In other words, security for yourself. It's a very bad way of going about it. I find that very often in Italy. But I must say that Italy is a very complicated country. I am not quite sure that Garibaldi had success in unifying Italy. I don't think so. The Camicie Rosse. Well, they were red, but I don't think the unifying mission in any way has been completed, nor do I see any necessity for it. To me, the capital of Italy is Terracina. I love Terracina. It's at the border between Mezzogiorno and Nord. Fantastic. It's not a very big and very famous place, and you have to know Italy a little bit to appreciate it. But let's leave that aside. What I try to do is develop the vision. And I have used now marriages as an example. Let me jump to United States, China, to have something else. China knows much more about the United States than the United States about China. There is an asymmetry of knowledge. It has something to do with the way the United States accumulates what it calls knowledge. It has been to be compatible with the US image of itself as the leading state. Nobody above. Okay. Nobody on the side. That's a little bit more problematic. Because in peace practice, we are aiming at horizontal relations. There has to be somebody on the side. So if you want to be the only one at the top, it's called America First. And they have a president who is saying that about 3 times every minute. If you have that, you're in for trouble. And they are suffering those troubles exactly now. Decline and fall. May look like they are expanding in some ways. Well, that will be short-lasting. So having said that, peace journalism takes as its point of departure the good and the linking of the good with the good. You have a very Buddhist fundamentalist, a lady, and she is married to a very clever businessman selling bicycles. And he does a very good job. And they have endless quarrels. So a psychologist says to them, could you imagine having a talk with this Galtung? So how do I do it? Well, you have already understood my point. Link the good with the good. What is good about her is her Buddhism, but not the fundamentalism. Because the fundamentalism means that only I have seen the truth, and that's the only truth in the whole world. The businessman with bicycles, what is good about him is that his accounts are in the black, not in the red. He's a good businessman. What is bad about him is that he defines that as the real life. The real life is business. And he has no sense of the spiritual. Just as little as she has over business. So what do? Well, I identify the two good things. He runs business very well. And she believes in something, to my mind, very beautiful, Buddhism, since I myself am in that direction. What is bad about her, that is fundamentalism. What is bad about him is his anti-spiritualism, ruling it out of the world. And I've also noticed on the side that she has developed a tendency very much dedicated to meditation. To do meditation with some men, let us call it deep meditation, in depth. Not so terribly deep, but that, to her it's meditation. And he has developed a tendency to use tandem bicycles for two. And it so happens that on the second seat is a lady. I have been told about it. I know that belongs to human affairs. I don't find it very unusual. So what is my task? Good with good. How do I do it? The good about you, lady, is your Buddhism. The good about you, my man, is good business. How do you link Buddhism and good business? Click, 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 click. How about a bookstore for Buddhist books? You see, that is this little element called creativity. I don't think you shall assume you have it. But I can tell you one thing, you can develop it. Please don't start with the conflict between Israel and Palestine. It's too much for you anyhow. Don't start with that one. Don't take that American habit. Well, I'm a member of the junior year and we are going to Israel and Palestine to solve that conflict. It's not like that. Maybe you start with helping your friends in difficulty, or yourself in difficulty. Maybe you have a difficulty with yourself. Maybe you need mediation in yourself. It's called inner dialogue. The outer dialogue is with another person. Maybe it's a good idea to have some inner dialogue in conjunction with outer dialogue. Anyhow, as you understand, I suggested a bookstore for Buddhist books. That was in the late 1980s. The bookstore has been an enormous success and still exists. They jumped into the air when I suggested it. This was in northern Germany, but has nothing to do with northern Germany. My story could have happened anywhere. They jumped into the air and they said, but it's so obvious. Why didn't we develop that idea? And I said, well, you were too busy quarreling, you see? And that is not a good mood. You're not good at developing creative ideas if you wake up in the morning. What have I forgotten to say that could hurt him, that could hurt her? That is not a good point of departure. You have to somehow switch your mode of operating. So, linking good with good. And I would like then to draw a conclusion for journalism. And I have a sheet here, and I think it has been distributed to you. I don't know quite, but there is a column called Peace, Conflict Oriented Journalism and War Violence Oriented Journalism. And it lists in some detail, and as far as I understand, it has been translated into Italian and communicated to all of you. So I'm not going to do what I intended to do, which was to comment on it, except for just saying one thing. I'm not arguing peace journalism, yes, and war journalism, no. I'm arguing both. Both and. The point is that what we have to do today is the war journalism and negative journalism. That's what we have. And we also have that journalists consider this good. That's the way it should be. I made a study in 1960 about news and discovered that foreign news had to have 4 characteristics. And now you have to have a little bit imagination. You have something called an event. There are very many of them. How does an event qualify to become news? So you can imagine something called a journalist who's sort of walking down and there is a list of events standing in line, hoping to get into the newspaper, which is a triumph for an event to make it. But he needs help of a journalist. So I was asking journalists, what do you look for? And 4 things came out very clearly. It has to be preferably about states high up in the world, people high up in those states, in other words, elite people in elite countries. It has to be person, not anything abstract like structure or things like that, culture. It has to be person, actor-oriented, and it has to be negative. If it is about somebody very high up in a very elite country, and it is very person-oriented, like a queen giving birth to a son, it may be positive and still pass it. In other words, even if you're not supposed to report the positive, you may sometimes do it. There is no rule without exception, so I have mentioned that. And my minutes are now coming to an end, and I shall conclude in the following way. Peace and war journalism, constructive and destructive journalism, positive and negative journalism, hand in hand. The argument is not one at the expense of others. The argument is to do both. But to do both, journalists have to have a more clear image of what peace is about. I have said doing good things to each other. They are very good at what violence is about, doing bad things to each other. Negative peace, they may not even pay attention to. So the distinction between negative and positive peace enters, and more attention to doing good things to each other. I end with an example. Something that I would like to see. I would like to see United States and China sitting down together. And United States saying, you China, how did you lift the bottom up? We have the bottom sinking and sinking and sinking deeper and deeper down. And we even have many people in our country who think that's good because that's what they deserve. It's punishment as deserved because you live in the best society in the world, and if you don't make it, it's because you are bad. How do we do that? And China saying to US, you know, what we admire about you is your innovative capacity. And when we look at the US, you see ideas sprouting all over society. You are so creative in the most remote corner. Some of these ideas are capitalist ideas, and we have our doubts we like capitalism, but we also like communism. So our ideology is called Capi Communism and Commu Capitalism. And we think you might find something interesting in that kind of eclectic approach. But in the meantime, let us sit down, and I will try to learn from you, and hoping that you can learn from us. Mutual learning. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Galtung. I think we have Galtung, sorry. I think we have His Eminence is here. Oh. You did very well. Yep.
I was told not more than 20 minutes.
Yes.
It was 18.
Sorry for the interruption. We are happy now to welcome into His Eminence Cardinal Peter Turkson, the Prefect for the Dicastery of the Promotion of Integral Human Development. We welcome him wholeheartedly into our midst to deliver his message.
Excellencies, distinguished, my apologies for showing up so late. I thought sending a message I was off the hook, but apparently that's not been the case. So in the first place, I wish to si fa italiano o inglese? A proposito vorrei salutarvi tutti quanti e di darvi un cordiale benvenuto a questo evento di giornalismo per la pace e auguriamo a questo evento un buon esito, un buon successo. Illustri relatori partecipanti di questo convegno, porgo a ciascuno di voi il mio cordiale saluto e esprimo viva gratitudine per la vostra presenza qui e per la vostra attività a servizio del bene comune. Siete convenuti a questa conferenza per affrontare argomenti cruciali sia in loro stessi e sia in considerazione della complessità delle sfide politiche e dell'attuale scenario internazionale caratterizzato da un clima instabile di conflittualità. In siffatto contesto, ragionare assieme sui temi legati a cosa comunichiamo risulta quanto mai urgente e necessario. In qualità di servitori di questo dicastero da Papa Francesco, che ha fra le sue molteplici competenze quelle di assumere le sollecitudini della Santa Sede per quanto riguarda il bene comune della pace, considero come un privilegio aver aderito all'organizzazione dell'evento che si apprestiamo a celebrare e desidero offrire una breve salute di riflessione. La pace vera è la vera notizia. Papa Paolo VI, che verrà canonizzato domani, e l'Organizzazione delle Nazioni Unite hanno affermato questo, come anche hanno affermato il grande valore di disarmo. La pace, dicevamo, è un bene supremo e per usare le parole di Santo Padre Papa Francesco, in occasione del suo messaggio per il 50° giornata mondiale della comunicazione sociale, diceva che la pace costituisce la vera notizia all'umanità dell'oggi. Proprio domani avrà corso la sentenza papale che definirà e sanzionerà la iscrizione di Papa Beato Paolo VI nel novero dei santi. A tale sommo sacerdote, sommo pontefice, come è noto, si deve la stesura della lettera enciclica Populorum Progressio di 1967, che sviluppando la visione cristiana della persona umana ha dato corpo alla nozione di sviluppo umano integrale e l'ha visto altresì nello sviluppo di un nuovo nome della pace. Pace uguale sviluppo. Il vero sviluppo è quello di sviluppo umano integrale. Nella società globalizzata come nostra, o forse travolta anche ipertecnologica, a questi due termini dell'equazione sviluppo e pace occorre quanto mai urgentemente aggiungere un terzo elemento, che è quell'elemento di disarmo. E quanto sostenere proprio il Beato Papa Paolo VI nel suo storico discorso alle Nazioni Unite del 4 ottobre 1965. Diceva lui, non è infatti concepibile una pace autentica e duratura senza lo sviluppo di ogni persona e di ogni popolo. Né è pensabile una riduzione degli armamenti se prima non si elimina la violenza alla radice. Se prima, cioè, l'uomo non si orienta decisamente alla ricerca della pace, del buono e del giusto. La guerra, come ogni forma di male, trova la sua origine nel cuore dell'uomo. In questo senso, il disarmo non interessa soltanto gli armamenti degli stati, ma coinvolge ogni uomo chiamato a disarmare proprio il suo cuore ed ad essere dappertutto operatore della pace. A questo proposito, il nostro dicastero è stato invitato parecchie volte ad organizzare eventi su temi come la non violenza cristiana. E spesso parlando di non violenza si parla di disarmo e disarmamenti. Ma vale la pena, nel senso di ciò che dice Papa Paolo VI, a considerare un altro senso di disarmo o non violenza. Non violenza innanzitutto non è soltanto una retorica di antiguerra o disarmo, ma non violenza è anche una retorica della protezione e tutela dei diritti delle persone. Non violenza vuol dire che non fa violenza ai diritti delle altre persone. Se noi non rispettiamo questo fatto di non violenza, che è proprio rispetto di tutto ciò che giova alla dignità delle persone, finiremo sempre a combattere. Qui non siamo in Stati Uniti, ma credo che il nostro relatore ha fatto se si considera gli eventi di Jefferson, tutte le cose che ogni tanto inizia le violenze in Stati Uniti, sempre problemi di dignità trascurata, diritti trascurati, eccetera. Quindi noi siamo qui, un po' proponiamo anche questa altra tesi, che non violenza cristiana non deve essere capito semplicemente in termini di disarmamenti, ma proprio anche il rispetto dei diritti delle persone. Quando uno non è violente o non violenza, vuol dire che non fa violenza ai diritti delle altre persone. E se non fa violenza ai diritti e alla dignità delle altre persone, vuol dire che devi rispettare, tutelare questi diritti. Quindi non violenza cristiana non è semplicemente un'antiguerra retorica, ma diventa allo stesso tempo rispetto, tutela dei diritti delle persone e rispetto per la dignità delle persone. Questo è proprio il senso della citazione appena fatta da Papa Paolo VI. Recentemente allora, proprio l'attuale segretario generale dell'ONU, Antonio Guterres, ha appunto lanciato una nuova agenda dell'ONU in materia intitolata Securing Our Common Future, al fine di chiedere che il tema del disarmo venga messo al centro del lavoro della comunità internazionale. Tuttavia, questi opportuni richiami rimangono sconosciuti ai più. Ad esempio, i programmi di ammodernamento, incremento degli armamenti vengono approvati e perseguiti dagli Stati senza che le opinioni pubbliche dei paesi interessati da tali processi esprimano un dibattito o opposizione, nonostante gli allarmi lanciati costantemente dagli addetti ai lavoro e soprattutto al dispetto di un confronto internazionale che in materia si fa sempre più serrato. Particolarmente assordante è il silenzio di quelle generazioni che rappresentano il futuro dell'umanità e che, avendo ereditato dei meccanismi decisionali che li hanno visti esclusi, se le cose non cambiano pagheranno il prezzo più elevato. Voi avete sentito forse parlare il presidente Macron della Francia, che lui è un figlio di post-guerra. Macron si presenta come figlio di Europa post-guerra. Quindi è stato nato dopo queste grandi guerre in Europa, un post-war child, diceva lui. Quindi un figlio di Europa post-war vuol dire che lui non ha mai sperimentato le guerre. E al di là di questo, la formazione dell'Unione Europea ha come visione la possibilità allora di scattare la possibilità di una guerra fra i paesi dell'Europa. Quindi la visione dell'Unione Europea è anche assicurare pace fra le diverse nazioni in Europa. Quindi abbiamo presidenti, non soltanto Macron, che sono figli di post-guerra Europa, che hanno abbracciato questa visione o questi progetti di Unione Europea che sarà di un pochettino ridurre la possibilità di guerra fra le nazioni in Europa. Quindi siamo allora su un bel percorso per pace in Europa, ma se è così, perché tutti questi paesi che mirano o che vogliono stare in pace hanno serie industrie di produzione di armamenti? A cosa serviranno questi armamenti allora? Ai fini economici? Forse così. Perché abbiamo assistito alla visita del presidente François Hollande in Saudi Arabia a vendere cacciabombe, cacciaerei, no? Quelli di Inghilterra e quelli degli Stati Uniti fanno commercio di armi. Volendo stare in pace, sostengono fabbriche di armamenti soltanto a incoraggiare, non so, che altro si può fare, queste guerre in altri posti. Allora se è così, perché non viviamo queste visioni di pace, chiudendo anche queste fabbriche di armamenti? Non si può produrre armamenti senza utilizzarli. E se sono da utilizzare e non da essere utilizzati in Europa, perché devono essere utilizzati altrove? Visto che quando non c'è pace in altre parti del mondo, non ci può essere pace anche in altre parti del mondo. Quindi la pace come un dono deve essere anche inclusivo. Se non ci sia una pace qui in qualche altro paese, non ci può essere altrove. Se non siamo coinvolgimenti direttamente, pagheremo sostenendo la creazione dell'effetto di queste guerre, come stiamo assistendo adesso in Yemen. Non siamo lì, ma cosa facciamo? Paghiamo per l'arrivo di viveri, di medicine, eccetera, eccetera. Quindi è così. Allora forse è arrivato il momento di proprio parlare sul serio e fare le parole diventare anche nostre azioni. Se siamo tutti noi parte di un'Europa, Unione Europea, che ha una visione di un'Europa senza guerra, allora dobbiamo rivalutare questa politica di fabbrica di armamenti. Se non devono essere utilizzate qui, perché devono essere utilizzate altrove? E se devono essere utilizzate altrove, dobbiamo allora riconoscere il fatto che la pace è un bene comune, è un bene pubblico. Se non c'è pace qui, non ci può essere anche pace in altre parti del mondo. E noi dell'Africa sappiamo questo benissimo. Quindi, forse oggi, questa mattina, parlando di questo tema di pace e giornalismo della pace, certi valori devono essere considerati nella loro consistenza. Se certi valori, certe politiche sono consistenti o no, forse questo è il momento di considerare tutto questo. La consistenza di una politica senza guerra, una politica della pace. E sapere in certo senso, in questa coerenza o consistenza delle politiche, sapere pure vivere nella pace. Quindi ecco, finisco sempre richiamando l'espressione e le parole di Papa Paolo VI. Lo citiamo spesso perché domani sarà la sua grande giornata della sua canonizzazione, quindi che non viene canonizzata soltanto la persona, ma anche le sue parole illuminanti, incoraggianti, che ci mette sulla via della pace. Che la pace è un bene comune, è il nuovo nome dello sviluppo e anche la pace. E se vogliamo promuovere pace, dobbiamo promuovere pure sviluppo. E per sviluppo stesso dobbiamo anche promuovere una situazione della pace. Senza un ambiente della pace non possiamo neanche promuovere sviluppo in ogni parte del mondo. Grazie per la vostra attenzione.
Our sincere thanks to His Eminence, Cardinal Peter, for his wonderful message. And as he said, peace is equal to integral human development. And no integral human development is possible without peace. And non-violence is not disarmament of arms. Non-violence is non-violence to the human rights of the person. Thank you, His Eminence, for your wonderful message. And over to Ellen.
Thank you, Your Eminence. We now will hear from Dr. Ray Shengher, who is a visiting professor at the University of Cambridge for the Faculty of Asian and Middle Eastern Studies. Dr. Ray has done his doctorate on Chinese Buddhist studies at Peking University in China. He has traveled worldwide, given keynote speeches in many occasions, but he's also a down-to-earth volunteer at the Zhuchai Foundation, offering his services and guidance during the various natural calamities in China, Nepal, Taiwan, Japan, Philippines, and India. He also has wide experience in mainstream media and has been a producer of television programs and documentaries. So we welcome you, Dr. Ray. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen, and thank you for this invitation. It's been an honor to be here and ideal and philosophy that initiated and practices by Tzu Chi Foundation, which is the largest Buddhist organization nowadays in the world. And my profession is journalism, and one is philosophy, so it's combined together. The subject today is about constructive journalism, which means journalism is not deconstruct, but construct the good society. Let's retrospect the idea of today. We have so many negative news, and we produce a lot of exceptional news, which means you may do 1,000 good things, but if one wrongdoing, the media cover that one wrongdoing, and public only remember your mistake. That's the problem of our modern media. And also, it's a social media age, so we have a mass participation, which means that everyone could be reporter now. They come with the rumors and the fake news and produce a lot of information that you don't want or you cannot trust. So can journalism now today, as Pope Francis is saying, can bring peace to our world? I think that's our goal here today. Let's retrospect the ancient time when the news began. It's initiated by government. I think back to Rome, 500 BC, the Senate issued the Acta. The Acta is news that delivered to Roman people. And even the Caesar the Great delivered daily act and occurrence to the Roman people as well. And Diana is the region of journalism in Roman time. And Emperor Augustus even used copper, used coin to deliver the news. One side is his portrait, the other side is the government's activity. So whenever or wherever the coin go, the news go. So you can penetrate the whole empire in the era of Roman Empire. And let's get to the 15th century. That's the beginning of modern journalism. I think it also combine the government and business all together. The government wants to raise funds from the people. They have colonized worldwide, so they want to show people they win the war, they had to do good business. So in the 15th century, in the Dutch and also in the UK, a lot of newspapers come up. And also the Henry V, the 7th also issued the law to prohibit the press to criticize government. And the first English newspaper is from Dutch, so-called Coranto. It's from in the 1620. And also there's a case in 1730. I'm sorry, I have to show this. Yeah, this is it. And this is also show the UK, the British Empire. They prohibited the media to criticize government or to provoke distrust of government. So that's the so-called Corantos from the Dutch. And also, if you go to the 18th century, it's an age of party journalism. It's very important to influence media today. The party journalism means, especially in the United States, all the party organize the media, newspaper, try to promote the idea, to criticize the government. So in the revolutionary American, there's come the Boston Chronicle, Massachusetts Spy, or New York Gazette. It's all come from party journalism. And after party journalism, after the state established 20th century, it's the age of muckraking. It's just like our day. Media always cover scandal of government, criticize churches, dig out the big problem of celebrities, or create the party conflict. It's 100 years from now, but our day is very similar to the day of muckraker. Here is the newspaper, The Future of Muckraker. And I think in the mid of 1950, it comes with the civic journalism, which means that the United States and many European newspapers, they transfer from government center to civic center, from muckraking to investigation. It's immediately more seriously on the issue they cover. They don't only dig a problem, but they analyze it. They try to provide like an analysis for people to know the truth of the reality. So that's the reinstate the value of freedom of justice. and also actualize the fourth state of democratic society. And this is one important icon called Edward Murrow. And the other part is McCarthy, which provoked the White Terror in the United States. He accused many good Americans to be communist, put them in jail, held a public hearing. So everybody afraid of McCarthy, but only Edward Murrow, as a journalist, stand up and challenge McCarthy and end the era of the White Terror. So after McCarthy, I think he became the icon of the American journalist. Like Peter Jennings, the famous anchor, they say everyone wants to be Edward Murrow. And when the world trembled, the media and the journalists provide the truth and set people from that kind of fearful. And Edward Murrow say that dissenting is not equal to disloyal. So that's the age of civic journalism, that reporter try to reinstate the justice and stability for the society. It's another portrait. He conducted the interview with the poor people at the most wealthy country in the state in the 1960s. A lot of low-class farmers, they cannot drink milk every day. So Edward Murrow produced the documentary called Harvest of Shame, and that's put out the journalists on government. So at the end of the documentary, the Edward Murrow stand in the field, say, these farmers, they don't have any influence on this situation, but perhaps we do. That means journalism can influence governmental policy. And also another case from Walter Cronkite can represent the civic journalism. That's from patriotism to civic service. Walter Cronkite was famous anchor person in the United States in the history of broadcasting. He was very loyal to the state, but during the Vietnam War, he was curious that why young journalists always criticize government. So he went to the front side to do the investigation for a month. When he returned to the state, he produced a documentary called Vietnam Special. And in that program, he said, Americans should end the Vietnam War. It's unjust, it's not good for both countries. So when Lyndon Johnson watched his program, Lyndon Johnson told his staff, if I lost Walter Cronkite, I lost American. So President Lyndon Johnson declined to pursue the second terms of the president. And also, Walter Cronkite has investigation on the Watergate, especially the Washington Post, Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein. They dig out the problem of Watergate, but no one supported them. Only these two reporters covered the news. But it was Walter Cronkite to support them, to produce 40 minutes on Watergate. So the whole nation focused on the problem, eventually bring Richard Nixon to resign. That's the age of civic journalism, and also the Watergate case historically changed the role of media. Yes, it's really impact the government, also provoke the justice, but also they have a negative influence. From the point of view, media become distrust the government, and also the rise of media critics. So from a point of view, the bad ideal of journalism is they distrust everything. They don't trust anything. They're curious on everything. They're skeptical on everything. So one statement, maybe you heard or not, to the reporter say, when your mother says she loves you, check it out. That's most skeptical of journalism, but it's also influenced by the Watergate. From the point of view, people distrust government, and also media have a skeptical on government. So later on, from a perspective in the 1980 and 1990, come with the participatory communication, which means the media not only provide ideal, but provide a platform for the people to speak out. Very well known is the American Agenda, and also show you the Peter Jennings, the American Agenda. This is me when I was broadcast on Taiwan TV station. The Great Society provide the platform for people to speak out, and also Diet TV station, the grassroots wisdom, which also provide a lot of platform for the people to speak out. And later on is service journalism, mainly from the Europe. The media is not only provide ideal, but they provide service to solve your daily problem, like a La Monde, like a Verdun Gang in Norway, or Information in Denmark. They all believe that journalists should resolve your daily problems. But later on, it's very unfortunate, the rise in infotainment, like Lisa O.J. Simpson in 1995. He has a homicide of his former wife, ex-wife, but his trial covered daily on CNN, on many mass media. So the crime like entertainment, and the news like episode. So it was the bad influence for the society. And also, you will attribute the decline of journalists. This is a Ronnie King case in 1992. The one people videotaping the whole scenario when the 5 policemen beat a driver who declined to stop his car, and the videotaping being broadcast worldwide and also over a million times on major TV. So that means everyone can be a reporter. So now you see, it also fighting in Congress in Taiwan. It's the age of criticism as entertainment. Criticize means entertainment, and criticize can generate revenue, commercial revenue. So it's a capitalization of the mass media, sensational, scandal. The critics, the ultimate entertainment tool. That's what we face today. Even worse because we have social media. So this kind of critics, entertainment, all merge together. So where the critique come from? It comes from party journalism. As I just introduced, in the 18th century, it's a party journalism. The party organized a newspaper, criticized the current government. So even though that the party journalism ended in the early 20th century, especially Pulitzer's, he proclaimed that media should be independent from political party. And also the New York Herald proclaimed that they're independent from political party in the early 20th century. But the party journalism's idea of critics remain a determining force to media. And also, media try to stay neutral. Reporters believe in the early 19th century, what they say a scientific truth. So they want to learn as a scientist to be neutral. But neutral got problem because you receive whatever you've been told. That's the problem. Because you stay neutral, you don't make judgment. Attack, you deliver. A lot of problem. You don't really to check out. You don't really want to make judgment, or especially moral judgment. So the new social medias, receiver equal to provider. There's no credential news. You cannot check out the background. And also the messengers are anonymous. When you're anonymous, you can say what you want. You don't responsible of what you are talking about. So the rumor and damages created. And also, a lot of organizations try to manipulate social media, try to produce a lot of fake news and rumors against some organization, to criticize some credential church, government, or organization. We all be victims of this kind of media environment. So that's what I say. It's about the time to say about constructive journalism. There's one example for this, how media construct a better society to produce a relief for the audiences. This is Michael Wallace. He was anchorman for 60 Minutes, and he believed that anchorman should be a social therapist, which means media and the anchorman can relieve suffering when people are suffer, can provide answer when audience are confusing. When we have a lot of difficulties, the media don't create panic. Instead, media should sustain difficulties and path through it. So that's the idea of constructive journalism. And the one case is that he interviewed Clint Hill, who was the chief guard of JFK during the assassination. And he believed that if he can 1 early second, you were able to take the third shot of JFK. So he was become depression and alcoholic. So Clint Hill accept interview by Michael Wallace. Michael Wallace tell him that you have quick enough. You should forgive yourself. And he was crying. Clint Hill was crying. No, I should be quicker. After Clint Hill watched the program of Michael Wallace, he suddenly feel relief. He forgave himself. He said, Mike, I have to thank you for your interview. Without the interview, I can always in the deep, dark depression. That's you made me relief. So anchor person can be a social therapist to provide confidence, to provide hope to the people, and hopefully provide peace to the society. So that's the principle of the constructive journalism from a perspective. When there's disaster event, we comfort the public. So negative news happen, we provide positive paradigm. You don't only produce negative news. You say something, doing something bad. Produce something in the same position, do something very good. So whenever we encounter negative news, we provide positive paradigm. Be just, not to be neutral. Be responsible for what you report. Make judgment, make moral judgment, not try to be neutral. Be empathy and not stand aside. Find reconciliation, not to provoke conflict. Media always provoke conflict, A side, the B side, they're debating, you stay neutral, you just provoke the conflict. You don't really try to resolve it. That's the problem of our news. And constructive journalism believe we have to be responsible for the result of speeches. Can we do that? The media can responsible for what you talk or what you cover. It's very difficult, I know, but we try to build that kind of ethic to the media. Be advices, not to be critiqued, for public interest, not for commercial revenue. And most importantly, spend time to find solution, not merely dig out problem. The media spend too much time to dig out the problems, but rarely provide a solution. But media journalists has a lot of energy and opportunity to invite social elite to discuss, to provide resolution to specific issue that concern by the public. So constructive journalism believe we should provide resolution. Don't create panic. Don't only dig out the problem. And by that, we may better to construct a better society. That's the refugee in the Iraq War. Probably my time is about to complete it. I led those cases, this constructive journalism cases, in my workshop, okay? I have few cases. I hope I can share with you how we conduct constructive journalism in my country, in my foundation, and in some other countries of journalism. Thank you for your time and looking forward to your advices. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ray. Boy, very thoughtful insights on constructive journalism. Speaking of, I think Vanessa will perhaps lead us forward on this concept of constructive journalism. She is the founder, president, and executive director of the Media Association for Peace, or MAP. She specializes in media, peace, and conflict, and is a pioneer of peace journalism in Lebanon, the Middle East, and the North African region. She has trained and advocated for the role of media in peace building and conflict transformation. She's the first Lebanese to earn a master's degree in media, peace, and conflict studies from the United Nations mandated University for Peace in Costa Rica. A TEDx speaker on peace journalism and the winner of several prizes for her peace media activism. Let's welcome Ms. Vanessa Basile. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. First, I would like to thank the Vatican and the Dicastery for Communication for this invitation. It's such a pleasure and an honor to be here. And I must say that when the Pope has announced his support for journalism on the Communication Day earlier this year, we celebrated at the office in Beirut. Because we really think that the support is for us and a big value, and the church being supportive of peace media gives us more credibility for the work that we're doing in Lebanon, and definitely it would encourage us to do more of the work that we do. I'm going to actually share my story with you today of how I started an organization in Lebanon that is the first organization in the Middle East and the North Africa region specialized in peace journalism. So it's a little bit a personal story, but also an organizational one. So I have studied journalism and political science at the Lebanese University, and I have started to work as a journalist since I was 19 years old, working for different media outlets, Lebanese newspapers, reporting for radio stations, news websites. But I have entered the university right after the Prime Minister of Lebanon was assassinated. So the country was really in a big tension, and the political parties as well as the community groups were really in a very bad, and they were angry, they were in a very bad mood, I would say. So when I entered university, I was seeing people fighting, and I was seeing my colleagues, my friends, hating each other and attacking each other. So I'm coming from it's very peaceful, I must say a Catholic home. We have embraced the values of Christianity since I was very young. So I couldn't really understand why people were not accepting each other if they have different point of views, where they were hating each other, where they were talking to each other in a respectful manner. This is how my peace activism has started. I couldn't really understand why this is happening in front of my eyes, you know, in the media faculty where I've done my studies, and the social groups where I got involved. In 2009, I had the chance to meet Jake Lynch, who is also one of the pioneers of peace journalism. He was in Beirut, and he was giving a workshop on this concept. I had the chance to take this workshop for him for 5 days. And this is how actually my involvement in peace journalism has started. So together with my activism, with my peace activism and my experience in journalism, I felt that peace journalism can combine both, can combine the activism spirit, you know, this drive for change, this drive to do something good in our society, and the profession, like the journalism profession. So 2 years later, in 2011, I decided to organize a workshop for media students from different regions in Lebanon on peace journalism. And as you know, or maybe you do not know, but the community in Lebanon is very tense, which means that the political groups or the community groups that compose the Lebanese society are always in a tension. We have finished our war, 30 years ago, but still we are living in a post-conflict era, I would say. So the media is not really helping in actually de-escalating the conflict. Instead, they are fueling the conflict more, and they are not really applying constructive journalism. So in 2011, I decided to do a workshop in order to discuss these issues, you know, with my friends, with my colleagues, and with even people I did not know. I went to different universities and I have invited those students to come to the workshop. 25 people came, and the workshop was for 5 days, as I mentioned. We talked about how we, as the young generation of Lebanon, how we can actually make a change, how we can work for peace, how we can, as journalists, help in order to build this peace. The workshop was very successful, and people started to ask me to do more workshops. So this is how it started, actually. This is... 1 minute. Okay, so this is the first workshop that I have organized in 2011 for those students, for those media students. And after a year, we were always in touch, we were always communicating, we were exchanging ideas, we were commenting on news, on reports, on whatever we were watching on TV. So we were always in this debate, I would say. And then the following year, I was capable to do another workshop with a small prize that I have won in one of the international organizations who were working in Lebanon. I was capable to do this workshop for another 20 media students from different backgrounds and different regions and different religions also in Lebanon. And also with this group, we were always, debating, criticizing, exchanging ideas. The good thing is that we were very diverse, so we were not coming from one background, we were coming from different backgrounds. So this is really very enriching for the discussion. I have gathered the two groups that I have trained on peace journalism. Of course, I have also brought experts, because 7 years ago I wasn't an expert myself yet. So I had the help of some trainers who were specialized in conflict analysis. I brought working journalists, professional journalists also to share with us their experience. So I have gathered both groups, and I have named them the Lebanese Young Peace Journalist Group. And a year later, I have asked them, what would you like us to become? Do you think that we should become an official entity? Because I felt that we need to get more legacy, that we need to be more formal in what we do, and not only having all this informal discussion and meetings. So this group, the Lebanese Young Peace Journalist Group, this is the group that actually gathered the two groups that I have all trained. We have become the Media Association for Peace. The association that is specialized in peace journalism today. So I'm just telling you the journey of how actually the organization got established and how we were capable to become an official entity. We registered the organization in Beirut in the Ministry of Interior. So we are now an official organization and not only an informal group. After I launched the organization, I went to Costa Rica to the University for Peace, the United Nations mandated University for Peace, to get my master's in media, peace and conflict studies, because I also felt that on the personal level, I need to be more knowledgeable about the topic, and I need to really become an expert myself in order to continue to do this initiative that I have started. So when I came back from Lebanon, of course, this is when we launched the organization, we were in the media. We had a lot of coverage, and Al Jazeera, Al Arabiya, all the big TV stations were very interested in what this group of journalists intend to do. This is also some of the TVs in Lebanon that have interviewed us about MAP. So after I came back from my master's degree, I started to, and since 4 years, I started to really establish the foundation of the organization, trying to come up with projects that would encourage journalists to apply peace journalism. So this is in brief a background about MAP, a definition what MAP is. So as I said at the beginning, it's the first organization in Lebanon and the Middle East, North Africa region, dedicated to work on the role of media in peace, conflict, and social change through the concept of peace journalism. So we announce ourselves as we are a peace journalism organization. Our vision is definitely to get media involved in peace building. We want media to be an actor in enhancing human rights, gender equality, dialogue, reconciliation, sustainable development, and social justice. And of course, we are very influenced by Professor Johan Galting theory on positive peace. So in MAP, we really want to establish, or we want to get to positive peace. And probably I will say a little bit also what we mean by this concept. What is our mission? Our mission is to spread, advocate, train, apply, develop peace journalism. This is why we organize workshops, trainings, conferences, public discussions, and recently we started to produce articles and videos in order to show people what we mean by peace journalism, how to apply its principles and values. So this is what Professor Johan Galtung was saying about the negative peace and the positive peace, and we fully adapted at MAP. We think that we do not want journalists to only care about how to report violent conflicts, armed conflicts, which is, of course, very important, but this does not help us to get to a real peace. If there's no war, or no armed conflict, or no physical violence, this does not mean that there is peace. This is why we have developed at MAP programs that would help us to get to positive peace. So we train on not only how to construct or how to cover violent conflict, but also we train on the role of media and human rights in development and even in the environment. Because we do think that the environment is also one pillar of peace building, and having an active environmental media could also help to build peace in post-conflict countries and everywhere in the world. So this is like some of the pictures from our activities. We do conferences, trainings, and also we do some interviews with marginalized groups, such as the refugees in Lebanon, because we think that media should more highlight their rights and their needs also to the public. So also those are pictures from our annual workshops. So as I was telling you, in 2011, I started by organizing the Peace Journalism Workshop. And actually, I committed myself to do it every single year. So since last year, since 7 years, I'm organizing an annual peace journalism workshop in Lebanon to train a new group of journalists on peace journalism. So this is something that has started before MAP was created, and it's still ongoing. In addition to our annual peace journalism workshops, we also do public discussion, because we think we should not only train journalists on how to practice this concept, but also we should raise awareness for the public on the importance of media in conflict transformation, in dialogue. So we want to have like discussion with people who are not specialized in media, who are not journalists, to also push them to think about how media can play a positive role. And this is called media literacy, because we also help them to be more literate about the media, to be more critical about the messages that they are getting from the media. We got involved definitely in gender equality and women's rights, because we think that women's rights are human rights, and in order to really have peace in the society, we cannot have it if women do not have their rights. So we think that media has to play a role in that as well. Within our Media Peace and Human Rights program, we focus on women's rights, in addition to refugees' rights, to LGBT rights, and other groups as well. This is from our Media Peace and Development program. We also organize workshops regarding development, so how journalists can help in the development of the society to actually achieve peace. The environment project that I have also mentioned, we did a retreat, training retreats on the concept of environmental peace journalism, so we also built the foundation of the role of peace journalism in the environment. Those are also pictures from our discussions. We meet with students, we meet with professors, with activists, so we are always engaged in this discussion of the role of media in peace building. In addition to peace journalism workshops, we also organize the International Day of Peace in Lebanon. We use arts for this, because also we believe that music, for example, and artistic tools can also help us to convey messages of peace to the society. So those are in different cities in Lebanon. The thing that we also decided to do is producing articles that would reflect peace journalism. So for instance, we have created a website called haydalubnan.com, which is in Arabic, "This is Lebanon." And we have encouraged journalists to write positive articles about the country, because the media usually portray Lebanon as a country in war, or a country suffering from conflicts and crisis, which is right, which is correct, but it's not the whole picture. We want also journalists to see the good things about the country, that we want them to highlight story, inspiring story, positive stories. So we have created this web space in order to allow journalists to write and publish articles on these topics. In addition to this, we have gone to refugees camps. As you know, now we have hosted 2 million refugees in Lebanon, Syrian refugees, because of the war that's happening in Syria. So they have fled to Lebanon. And of course, it's one of the country crises because we are already 3 million, 4 million, and imagine a country that is hosting 2 million refugees. It's just too much. So there was a lot of conflict and tension between Lebanese and Syrian because of the refugee crisis. So we decided in MAP to play a positive role in the crisis. We went to the refugee camps, we interviewed the refugees, and we tried to report stories that would de-escalate the tension between the host community and the refugees. That was one way for us to practice peace journalism as well. So we have produced an e-magazine. We have collected 10 articles on refugee reporting from students that we have trained. And we have also produced video documentaries on the refugees. I don't think we'll have time to watch any of them, but this is just to mention. So in short, what does MAP bring to the community in Lebanon and the Middle East region? The concept of peace journalism itself, there's no other organization working on this. So we are the pioneers in this in the region, and we're happy to spread it and to advocate for it and to promote it. We also give travel opportunities. So not only training opportunities for free for young journalists, but also we give them travel opportunities to attend conferences internationally, to go to international training programs, to do volunteering work in Europe, for instance. Now there's like one person who's going to Portugal to do a volunteering work for 9 months from Lebanon through our association, for instance. Networking is very important. It's true that Lebanon is a very small country, but networking is very crucial in our work because it helps us to meet people from different fields. It helps us to promote our work. So the people who join the association have also access to the contacts that we have, to the network that we have established since 2011. Capacity building activities, definitely, because we give trainings, as I said, and workshops. So we give also the opportunities for young people to develop their skills, their tools, and to grow professionally and personally. Local and international exposure, because we do not only work in Lebanon, but we also work in other Arab countries. We collaborate with different regions. We collaborate in associations that work on media and activism projects in different Arab countries, and also in Europe and the States. Practical experience. So far, we have hosted more than 30 interns at MAP to undertake an internship and to grow professionally, to get some experience on the work of an NGO, on the concept of peace journalism. So we also, through our volunteer and internship program, we provide this opportunity for undergrad students or graduate students to get some experience, especially if they have no experience before. We have definitely a young, innovative, and fun spirit. We are a youth organization working for youth, but also for the whole community. And lots of love, because I think that without love, peace can never happen. So this is briefly the story of Media Association for Peace, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Vanessa. And again, to remind everyone, after the coffee break, you can have an opportunity to hear more from Vanessa, Ray, Stefania, Dr. Gultung. If you could, again, fill out the form. And then secondly, if you have a question for one of our speakers, as a reminder, if you could write it down, we're collecting those. Could the staff who are collecting the questions, could you just stand so people can recognize you? So, yeah, just again, we'll collect those and hopefully get those, be able to quickly provide a time for people to ask questions. But before we do all of that, we have one more speaker. We've saved the best for last here. Stefania Tanasini is the international coordinator and spokesperson of the Folklore Association called Net One. She is leading the Journalism and Migration project promoted by Net1 and has coordinated a series on dialogical journalism. The press officer of the International Focolare Movement, she's organized large cultural events, conferences, seminars, exhibitions, and has also been active in the press office of Microsoft Italy and working with various news outlets here in Italy. So thank you, Stefania.
E siccome sono l'ultima vi parlerò in italiano. Chiedo scusa, vedo che qualcuno si toglie le cuffie, chiedo scusa o forse qualcuno sarà contento. Cercherò di rendere vivace quest'ultima parte delle nostre... Bene, c'è una definizione di giornalismo che è quella vi convince di più e in cui mi riconosco, è la... detta negli anni '20 Albert Camus, lo scrittore francese, dice che il giornalista è lo storico del presente e che dovrebbe saper restituire una lettura dei fatti completa, storica, attuale ma anche prospettica. Ecco, non mi dilungo nella descrizione dello stato dell'arte della comunicazione oggi, fra l'altro il dottor Ruffini come dire, ha dato molti elementi validi per comprenderla, però mi pongo anch'io come provo con Bauman che si fece la domanda: abbiamo i giusti strumenti interpretativi per la realtà? E la faccio proprio a noi comunicatori, a noi giornalisti. Abbiamo gli strumenti interpretativi per trasmettere, per comunicare una realtà complessa come la nostra, per aiutare i lettori, i fruitori dell'informazione a farsi un'opinione? Sì e no. Dopo magari nei forum ci daremo una risposta. Certo è che la cassetta degli attrezzi di noi giornalisti oggi, possiamo dire, non è mai stata così piena e così colma di strumenti fisici ma anche di app, no? E con una società dell'informazione, il web 2.0, che ci impone ritmi serratissimi, ritmi caratterizzati da velocità, immediatezza, glocalizzazione, interattività, multimedialità, ci costringono un po' in una camicia di forza, diciamoci la verità, spesso a rischio di superficialità. Sappiamo la difficoltà del controllo delle fonti, anche qui non mi dilungo in tutte le problematiche che il giornalismo digitale ci pone davanti ogni giorno. Per non parlare dei giovani che si trovano in uno stato di precarietà costante, si parla appunto di nuovo, esce di nuovo il proletariato dell'informazione. Questo per quanto riguarda la problematicità dell'oggi, ecco. Che cosa sono cambiate? Che cosa è cambiato col digitale? Sono cambiate le relazioni psicologiche, sociologiche, è un problema antropologico senz'altro. Le relazioni macro e micro a livello mondiale, la globalizzazione ha posto il problema della massificazione dei comportamenti, pochi comportamenti massificati. Nelle micro relazioni entriamo qui nel mondo dei social media, su cui anche non mi dilungo, è stato uno tsunami per tutti noi senz'altro, con conseguenze sulla psicologia della visibilità. Ci sono state varie definizioni che ci aiutano a definire quelle che sono gli effetti anche di questi social sulla visibilità. Anche tanti guru dell'infosfera hanno dato definizioni, basti pensare, non so, McLuhan ha parlato di galassia dell'intrattenimento informativo, Debord società dello spettacolo, Lipovetsky addirittura di trionfo dell'effimero, fino alla vetrinizzazione sociale definita da Codeluppi. Fake news, post verità hanno fatto il resto, ecco. C'è da dire però che anche il giornalista, se di fronte a tanti punti come quelli descritti, caratterizzati dal segno meno, ce ne sono anche caratterizzati dal segno più. È diventato di più un opinion maker, di più un attore di cambiamento. Basti pensare al ruolo che ha nelle società, penso al Nord America, penso all'America Latina, per la quantità anche di palcoscenici che ci viene offerta, ma non. L'esperienza della nostra associazione si colloca quindi in questo vasto e complesso panorama. Nell'anno 2000 i giornalisti che si sono, brevissimamente un po' di storia, riconosciuti nel sistema di valori promosso dal Movimento dei Focolari, la fondatrice Chiara Lubick, che si raccolgono e si riconoscono attorno al principio evangelico dell'unità, si sono riuniti con Chiara Lubick e vi dico, ci sono stati 4 punti attorno ai quali ci siamo riconosciuti e abbiamo cominciato un percorso di lavoro a livello mondiale. Ci tengo a dire che non sono membri, non siamo tutti membri del Movimento dei Focolari, anzi, religioni diverse, chiese diverse, chi non si riconosce in un preciso riferimenti di valori religiosi, ecco, ma attorno a 4 punti fondamentali. Il comunicare è essenziale per raggiungere la propria piena umanità, questo è il primo punto. Il medium è la persona umana e non viceversa. È bene comunicare non solo lo scandalo, prima lo si diceva, ma anche le buone notizie. Per comunicare e informare correttamente bisognerebbe seguire il principio paolino del farsi tutto a tutti. Nel 2016, facciamo un salto di alcuni anni, un gruppo di noi, soprattutto giornalisti, preoccupati della deriva informativa presa a causa del problema migratorio, soprattutto in Europa, ci siamo interrogati, anche perché lo scontro stava avvenendo anche dentro la nostra organizzazione. Appunto, siamo in tanti ad essere europei, dell'est, dell'ovest. La domanda che ci siamo fatti è come essere noi stessi mediatori, attori e promotori di dialogo nelle nostre società e tra le nostre società. Quindi si poneva la forte domanda della formazione dei comunicatori, della formazione dei giornalisti. Volevamo essere presenti dove la spaccatura, dove la ferita era più presente, più grave, più profonda. Quindi è nata così la proposta di Net1, della nostra organizzazione, di dar vita ad uno stile di giornalismo che abbiamo voluto chiamare dialogico. Fra l'altro io ci tengo a ringraziare il Dicastero per l'organizzazione di questa giornata, perché ci dà proprio speranza, fiducia. Ascoltare i nostri relatori precedenti, giornalismo di pace, giornalismo costruttivo, costruttivista, ci fa rendere conto, ci rende più consapevoli che siamo una rete nel mondo e probabilmente la soluzione non viene da noi singoli ma da questa rete che componiamo insieme, per cui grazie ancora. Gli elementi, che cos'è il giornalismo dialogico, di che cosa si tratta? Alcuni punti. Non è una scuola di giornalismo, è uno stile di vita, uno stile professionale attorno al quale ci siamo riconosciuti proprio cercando di dare e di darci una formazione rispetto a questi problemi così divisivi che ci troviamo a maneggiare, a trattare ogni giorno come notizia, come opinione. Primo elemento, nella pelle dell'altro abbiamo voluto chiamarlo. Cosa significa? Ci sembra che non sia sufficiente suscitare forme di buonismo o anche solo un atteggiamento empatico con le nostre notizie, non è assolutamente sufficiente. L'atteggiamento dialogico deve essere parte del nostro lavoro, occorre saperci calare nella pelle dell'altro, diciamo noi, avere un atteggiamento molto più invasivo, appunto, dicevamo, della semplice empatia o partecipazione al dolore, alla catastrofe che l'altro sta vivendo, ecco. Tutto questo, mi rendo conto, non è semplice, significa saper trasmettere dei punti di vista altrui, però senza perdere la propria identità. Il giornalista dialogico è voce di un soggetto plurale, non è mai solo, non è mai un elemento, un satellite a sé stante, è voce di una comunità. Dalla comunità non solo prende le notizie, ma se ne fa portavoce, ne è parte. In loco. Un altro elemento portante dell'esperienza che stiamo facendo è il rivalutare la dimensione del reale del giornalismo. Di fronte a tanta virtualità che stiamo vivendo, quando è possibile, mi rendo conto che non sempre questo è possibile, anche visto i costi economici di tante operazioni, ma quando è possibile si cerca di scendere sul campo, di andare nei luoghi delle crisi. In un'epoca di post-verità ci sembra sia importante il più possibile avvicinarsi alla verità, agli eventi che si raccontano. Mi rendo conto che non sto dicendo nulla di nuovo, ma è giusto riattualizzare questo concetto, questa necessità. Vorremmo risottolineare il valore di mediatore sociale del giornalista oggi, mediatore sociale, ricompositore di dialogo, di relazioni. Lo strumento più prezioso, vi rendete conto, che il giornalista dialogico ha è il dialogo stesso, cioè la capacità di entrare in relazione non semplicemente a scopo utilitaristico per ottenere una dichiarazione, per ottenere il pezzo, per scrivere questo o quest'altro. Questo dialogo è un dialogo che si apprende all'interno di una comunità anche di giornalisti. Il nostro lavoro è molto comunitario quando ovviamente le circostanze ce lo consentono, ce lo permettono. Che cos'è allora il giornalista dialogico, il giornalismo dialogico? Dicevamo, non è una scuola di pensiero, non è una scuola di giornalismo nuova, è uno stile di vita, è uno stile professionale. È uno stile professionale secondo i principi evangelici che si esplica nel tentativo di essere lì dove siamo, nelle nostre professioni o quando riusciamo a lavorare insieme, artigiani di pace. È uno sguardo misericordioso posato sul mondo e sulle persone. È uno stile relazionale ed è anche uno strumento comunitario, nel senso che si sforza di creare comunità anche tra i colleghi, proprio nell'ambiente di lavoro. Cerca di creare una cosa che non è semplicissima nel nostro lavoro, perché lavoriamo molto da soli, perché il nostro strumento principale sono le nostre idee, la nostra testa, ma cercare di creare comunità di lavoro, di confronto. Un altro strumento di forza che ci identifica è l'interdisciplinarietà. Dopo vi racconteremo nel forum con i miei colleghi che sono qui, Palco Tot, Michele Zanzucchi, Cristina Montoya, qualcosa del progetto Giornalismo e Migrazioni. Ecco, un valore aggiunto che abbiamo riscontrato nei nostri seminari itineranti è l'interdisciplinarità, non solo tra giornalisti, ma per avere il più possibile uno spaccato reale e il più possibile oggettivo delle realtà che andiamo a raccontare, l'ascolto della società a 360 gradi proprio. Torno a ribadire un concetto, il giornalista come medium, cioè collegamento tra persone umane, tra gruppi di persone, coesione sociale quindi. Di conseguenza il giornalismo dialogico vuole essere un luogo proprio, un luogo di formazione per i giornalisti. Che cosa facciamo? Svolgiamo formazione, facciamo summer school e negli ultimi anni ci siamo mossi per il progetto Giornalismo e Migrazioni su 3 continenti, in America, prima di tutto in Europa, poi siamo andati in Medio Oriente, anche in America Latina per guardare le migrazioni non solo dal punto di vista Africa, Europa, Medio Oriente, Europa, ma della mobilità mondiale, proprio per dare ai giornalisti uno spaccato più ampio del problema, della realtà. Portiamo avanti studi accademici per dare dignità accademica al principio del giornalismo dialogico e questo lo facciamo soprattutto presso l'Istituto Universitario Sofia al Centro Internazionale dei Focolari qui in Italia, Loppiano, in provincia di Firenze. Come ultimo il progetto Giornalismo e Migrazioni, di cui abbiamo fatto già 10 seminari itineranti perché li svolgiamo il più possibile sui luoghi delle crisi migratorie. Abbiamo iniziato, il primo è stato a Budapest in Ungheria, poi abbiamo proseguito in Grecia, a Pozzallo, a Beirut e appunto siamo stati anche in Colombia. Arrivo velocemente alle conclusioni. Che cosa ci sembra che serva oggi? Dicevamo strumenti interpretativi nuovi o rinnovati per raccontare il reale. Non aver timore di andare contro la corrente mainstream, saper ascoltare, saper vedere, e saper comunicare ciò che vediamo. Vorrei concludere raccontandovi un fatto personale. Ecco, eravamo a Pozzallo nel 2000, penso fine 2016, ecco, eravamo andati lì proprio per affrontare l'arrivo dei migranti dall'Africa, la questione dello SPRAR e tutto quanto riguarda le migrazioni qui verso l'Italia. Abbiamo fatto un incontro molto interessante con un gruppo di ragazzi mediatori culturali presso il Centro Mediterraneo di Studi Giorgio Lapira e quindi abbiamo avuto occasione proprio di interagire personalmente con loro. Ho conosciuto Amal, un ragazzo eritreo che era in Italia da 5 anni e stava appunto concludendo il corso per mediatore culturale. E io gli ho chiesto, dico, ma perché vuoi fare un lavoro del genere che in fondo ti ricorda costantemente, quotidianamente, nell'incontro con questi ragazzi che arrivano dai barconi, il tuo orrore personale, l'inferno personale che hai vissuto in Libia, sulla barca, l'arrivo. Quella risposta mi ricordo che mi ha dato, io me la sono scritta subito perché mi ha dato ragione del lavoro che stiamo facendo anche con l'approccio dialogico nel giornalismo. Lui mi ha risposto così, dice: guarda, io voglio vivere in un mondo in pace e ho capito che per poterlo fare devo convincere quanta più gente possibile che ne vale veramente la pena. Questo avviene solo quando la gente sente che sei nudo di fronte a loro, che sei disarmato. È solo allora che tu riesci a comunicare che gli sei fratello, sorella, che sei alla pari con loro. È solo allora che ti capiscono e che probabilmente ti seguiranno. In quel momento ti vedranno veramente e anche tu li vedrai, finalmente vedrai. Allora potrai comunicare. Grazie, dopo ci racconteremo di più.
Thank you. We've had some very rich presentations today on various aspects of journalism, from peace journalism to constructive journalism, dialogical journalism, and I was reflecting on the fact that we started with a brief reflection on soon-to-be St. Paul VI, who said we won't have justice without peace, and we're surrounded by images and news from soon-to-be St. Oscar Romero, who talked about how he was a voice for the voiceless. And I think there's, this is two sides perhaps of the same coin, and we as journalists perhaps walk in that sacred space of attempting to be a voice for the voiceless in a movement toward peace. So thank you to all of you for your reflections today. We have a few questions here. Perhaps we can start, Dr. Galtong, with the question that is addressed to you. Is that okay? I'll read the question and then perhaps you could offer a response.
You want me to read it?
I'll read the question, yes. You have been inspired by Gandhi, Buddhism, and your name is Johann, which is Christian. What is your opinion about religion in building peace? Specifically, what can the Catholic Church do more to be a catalyst of peace?
Everything, I think there are religions and religions. There are those that try to relate to others in a very friendly way. And I'm struck by the fact that the Buddhist, in principle, is willing to and able to combine his Buddhism with any other religion. I have noticed in Japan, for instance, a Buddhist coming out of a Christian church, and somebody asking him, "I didn't know you were Christian." And he said, "I'm also Christian." It sounds to me to be a very valuable attitude. In other words, to see religions as not mutually exclusive. And you can then ask yourself, can you pick from them? Not only eclectic, but selective. And I would say yes. I find the dialogue tradition in Judaism fantastic. I find in Catholic Christianity the idea that there is forgiveness for the peccatore, for the sinner. Fantastic. And I find in Orthodox Christianity the idea of optimism for the future, even if it takes 500 years. Fantastic. I find the Catholic and the Protestant more pessimistic, if you will. I find in Protestant Christianity the emphasis on the individual. Martin Luther said, "Hier stehe ich kann nicht anders." Here I stand, I cannot do otherwise. And I find in Catholic Christianity the idea of the collectivity, the community, fantastic. In other words, it's a question of combining from the religions. And I think that can be done. Now, at the end of this was the Catholic Church. I think what we have been hearing today is testimony to the openness of the Catholic Church. We heard it from the Cardinal and we heard it from others. And this meeting itself is an example. When the Cardinal was talking about non-violent Christianity, I was thinking, there is a name for that non-violence, many call it Gandhism. But Gandhi didn't accept that name because it was too negative. Non-violence, too negative. In Hindi, it's ahimsa. Himsa is violence, ah is the negative particle. Gandhi rejected it. And he invented a new word, satyagraha. Holding on to satya. So what is satya? The word satya stands for peace, love, and truth at the same time. We don't have that concept in the West. Peace, love, and truth rolled into one. But we can learn it. There's always space for learning. So I have been listening with great interest to this fascinating meeting. And what I find now, the Catholic Church as presented here, is openness and searching. And that was celebrated. Thank you.
And we have a question for Vanessa. What is the opinion of professional Lebanese journalists about peace journalism? Do they actually practice peace journalism? And what about those who are your students? Did they continue to practice peace journalism? I assume the question means after they're finished being students.
Okay, so I think there's a problem in mainstream media, and this is why MAP is here, to try to give a solution to the biases in the media, to the controlled media. Of course, there's no peace journalism, or there are some peace journalists in Lebanon that are trying to do good work, but most of the media institutions are controlled by political agenda, by sectarian agendas. There's a lot of biases, a lot of lack of objectivity. And this is why we train the new generation of journalists in order to be the alternative, in order to be the change. Now, what happens to them after they get trained? Of course, many of them graduate and start working as journalists, and I have seen their progress in the last 5 years since I started this. I was so proud to see many of them on TV, being correspondents, being reporters, or reading their articles in newspapers, and I was seeing how they were like using this small space of freedom that they have to apply what they are convinced in, what they think is right, what they think is objective. So definitely we have a lot of success stories of people who got training in peace journalism and they're practicing peace journalism. And I would say they wouldn't have come to the trainings if they did not have this tendency of doing this job right. So we just enhance their skills, we just give them more tools to do it better, to do it in a different way, but they have it already in them. And the good thing is that we invite them as speakers, or trainers even, to the workshops that we organize in the following years. So the same people who get trained, now they are also trainers, and they are also guests in our workshops.
I believe, Dr. Govakar, do you want to give us instructions before we break for coffee? Or? Oh, there's another question. Oh, okay, there, sorry, I don't want to cut that off. So this was actually a question for Cardinal Turkson, who I think, as he mentioned earlier, has another commitment and has already gone back to the synodal hall. But perhaps, well, maybe Dr. Ray or Stefania, if you could consider answering this. The journalist has to be a constructor of peace. In a society filled with violence, intolerance, truth, and legality, can they be considered instruments of justice, favoring the process of peace? Does anyone want to take a stab at that? Oh, great.
I don't think the journalist should do that. I think the journalist should report about those who do it. And let the journalist be a journalist. He's reporting what's happening in the world. And I don't think he should necessarily be a peace activist, but he can report about peace activism.
Thank you. Thank you. Great, great. Thank you.
Yes, as one senior journalist, I know the question is, what is news? The news has no any objective definition. It's determined by the reporter. What the reporters say is important, and it's important. So the reporter have a lot of authority to determine what people need to know. So I think the methodology of reporter determine what the news comes about. So reporter, if every reporter, bear in mind peace, love, beauty in his mind, he want to create peace, love, and beauty to the society, and the study will receive that kind of information. If you always try to make exception, try to make a negative, so the whole society receive the negative news, the ugly news, confrontation, and people feel very panic about that. So why reporter cannot change? They can change, but they're driven by the commercial revenue because they're believing that negative news sell. And bad news sell. They say good news is not news, bad news is good news. So that is the time to really change the mentality that we can really produce peace, love, and beauty to the society, and we should do that. It's not only the endeavor from journalism, but whole society is just so many senior professors right here to talk about. We have to connect each other. The global community have to devote our effort to change the situation, because the media is a very important platform for everyone to receive and to speak. So without the righteous platform, we cannot talk, we cannot communicate. We generate so many hatred in the media. We generate so many bias in the media. Those things, media know that, journalists know that, they are knowing that we are doing this, but they don't want to change. But why? Why can we change? Why can they change? So it's about time to go back to your spirit, to think why you are doing for this job, what you're doing for the society. You have to be responsible for the result. Because media say we are neutral. You say something bad, I just report it. It's not our business, it's your business, because you create a situation for the society. So media had to be responsible for the result of the society. We are responsible to bring peace, love, and happy to the society. That's mean constructive journalism.
In 1911, Italian fighter bombers were bombing oases in Libya. Oases were the places where women, children, old people, and the infirm were safe. Warfare was in the desert, on horse, the Bedouins. The Italian newspapers wrote in 1911 that bombing the oasis had a wonderful moral effect. I know a little bit about that. They were so shocked, the Bedouins, of this totally inhuman, satanic kind of behavior. I wouldn't say they capitulated, but they were saying they were facing the devil himself. What can we do? In year 2011, 100 years after, Silvio Berlusconi apologized. I was a little bit responsible for it. I'd only been traveling up and down Italy about 20 times saying that in 2011 you have a chance. He apologized. Libya loves him. They don't care a bit about what you think about him as a politician. For them, Silvio Berlusconi was the one who made the relation totally acceptable. And that spread to the Islamic State. And if you in Italy today are missing some solid terrorism, it's because of Silvio Berlusconi. You are benefiting from it. So, I also don't care a damn what you think of him politically. He is, of course, inserted in the political party system in Italy. But I'm trying to lift him up above that and say, you have generated something, 1911, 2011. So I went to top people in England and France. Have you followed Silvio Berlusconi? When does your time come? We have nothing to be apologetic about. Italy, certainly, yes, but not we. Nothing. All we did was to spread civilization. Well, my dear friends in London and Paris, that won't bring you very far. Your time will come, and maybe you could learn from an Italian politician.
I think we have time for one final question, and this is for you, Vanessa. So the question is, peace and news. What to do when a tree that falls is more resonating than a growing forest?
Well, I think that the simple answer for this would be report on the growing forest.
And I would say both and.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, simply because we lack of positive stories, we lack of stories that give hope, that are inspiring, that are just positive, you know, so we just have to go ahead and report these stories.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
please join me in thanking our presenters this morning. As we explained earlier, we'll have a coffee break now for about 15 minutes. Please let us know which of the 4 sessions you plan to attend after the coffee break, and we'll have more instructions on how to find those groups at that point. So the coffee is right next door here. If anyone needs a toilet, they're in the on either side of the reception area there. So 15 minutes at the top of the hour, noon, please. Thank you.
Thank you.